facing head-on the emotions beneath the surface as we bridge from an old world of confusion and lack to a beautiful new world of freedom, abundance, and love with straightforward truth and inspired hope is what you'll find on The Charla Anderson Show. Collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating. Here's your host, Charla Anderson.
Good, beautiful day, you beautiful, beautiful souls. This is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating, especially you. Thank you for joining me today, and we're going to talk about how can you be fearless, because I had a gun at my temple, stepped towards the gun and said, "You need love," and they ran, and I had no fear. We're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to do our little 22-second mini vacation. We're going to just go with the flow, learn how to breathe in calm for 7 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, breathe out gratitude for 11 seconds. And then we're going to get into this story about fearlessness and courage, outrageously courageous. That's who I am. So let's breathe in our calm first. Here we go. Hold. Release, relax. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's remember to do that a little bit more frequently than we probably do. Put those devices down and just be still and know. Take that moment to listen to that still small voice, your truth inside of you. So, yeah, it's been 7 years since 2017 when I was packed up everything I own, moved out of my beautiful, tiny, small house that I love so dearly. I'd been in for 5 years. I moved, I stored everything else upstairs in my ex-husband's house and where I'd raised my kids. And I went on it was a pre-planned 6 weeks trek that I went around. That was already pre-planned, and I just loaded up my car. I was living from my car, but not in my car, of course. But one of my friends, Carlene, had enrolled me into her dream of building a retreat center in East Texas. And so this began my trek, my journey. But first, before I started that, I already had these things I was going to do. First, I went to my sister and brother-in-law's place down in the hill country. And it was just beautiful. They've got a donkey and goats and chickens and pond and pool and a nice serene place. And it was so precious because I was able to complete this little manuscript for my tiny book with a big message called Candy Bar Hugs. It doesn't take much to make a difference. It's got so much wisdom in there that you would be very surprised, I think, that much punch could go in that tiny book. Anyway, I completed the manuscript for that. And then while I was there, I was also, this whole 30 days, I also was considering a name for a coaching program. So I came up with, because here I am, I was in my mid-60s at that time, I'm leaving a whole life, and changing everything. So I named my mentoring program Charla's Outrageously Courageous Life Mentoring System. Do you think it was prophetic? We'll see as we move through this story. So then I was leaving there after that 30 days, having completed those 2 projects and headed to Memphis, Tennessee for a Zervita conference. My company I've been with since 2008. I still love them dearly. They've got my zeal for life, my nutrition beverage, my energy drink. And now we've got coffee, we're memory boosting coffee. I love that company. And I love them because of the humble leadership. That's the key. That's the only reason I ever even looked at that company, because the humble leadership. Anyway, so here we are at the conference. I went at the conference and my friend Sherry had driven and met me there. We were staying at an Airbnb. So Saturday night after the conference, we're all excited and we're walking up the driveway of our little Airbnb home. for the night. And next thing I know, this Yeti with this big dent right through here was on the ground. And I had two bags, two canvas bags. One had my new MacBook and makeup and things like that. And I'd also had my other one had my cowboy boots and my convention clothes, my favorite things. I'm living from my car and walking up the driveway. Those things got ripped out of my hand. Very startling, right? Confusing, but next thing I know, I have a gun right here at my temple. Give me your purse. Give me your keys. Give me your purse. Give me your keys. And I had a death grip on him. I literally, in that moment, I stepped towards the gun. I stepped towards them and said, y'all need love. And they ran. How does that happen? How can you have that kind of fearlessness or outrageously courageousness in a moment, an unexpected moment like that? Well, first of all, I claim Psalms 91, God's umbrella of protection around me and my family, my life, my home, my car, all the time. I live in gratitude. I constantly mantra, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for whatever, even if I'm not specific, I'm in gratitude. And I also feel like I am surrounded by angels. In that moment, I felt protected. The God in the shield of protection. Thank you. Thank you for the shield of protection. I do that all the time. And anytime I'm driving, whatever, anytime I'm washing dishes, I'm in gratitude. And thank you for the shield of protection. So I didn't feel fear. I was shaken, of course, but I did not feel any fear in that moment. And of course, my friend Sherry, who had just handed over her backpack, she thinks I'm going to be a chalk mark, right? Isn't that what you would think? Somebody, you see your friend stepping towards the gun. Let me just say, I knew that I would be okay either way. So there's a lot more to that story. And the main piece of that story is I had no fear because whatever you say after the words I am is who you are. And I had said, who I am is bold faith, no fear. I'd said that for years, probably since 2008 or so when I ran into this humble leaders. Who I am is bold faith, no fear. Who I am, the I am, every word you say after I am is who you are. It's so critical that you start realizing that every word matters. I am is the breath of life. So in that, since that time, I have now written the second book, Split Second Transformation, Change Your Words, Change Your Life, 31 Daily Practices. It went bestseller in 2023 last year. So it's a packed full of hints and tricks on how to do what I'm talking about doing, because you are who you say you are. Every word matters. Claim what you want, not what you don't want. Speak life, not death, over yourself. And I'm going to add this. You might have gotten diagnosed with something, but you do not have to claim it. You do not have to say, I have this disease. I've been diagnosed with this thing. I'm going to mention it very seldom. I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm going to continue to see myself as healthy and healed. Don't claim what you don't want. And if you do say things like that, just go, hey, cancel. I don't want to claim things I don't want, because every word matters. So who I am, who Charla Anderson is I am outrageously optimistic. I am bold faith, no fear. I am healthy, wealthy, wise, fit, fabulous, and fun. I have a whole page of declarations, and I noticed the date was 2011, I think, 2010 or 11, that I literally wrote out all these affirmations or declarations, and I had claimed them over myself over the years so many times. One of my favorite ones is I attract successful people willing to invest in me. Ding, ding. It happens when you speak what you want, not what you don't want. So, you are who you say you are. Who do you say you are? What do you say about yourself? It's so incredibly critical to get that in your head and practice, practice, practice. So if you want that declarations page, just email me or go to my website, charlaanderson.com. There's an email form on there. Shoot me an email and I will send it to you like I did someone just the other day. And, this is so fun. My soon to be 3-year-old little grand blessing says, for months now, I've said, I taught her to say, I am, and she goes, happy. Well, recently I've added several more to her words, and I've been very proud and impressed that she remembered them the next day and still remembers all of them. And we're adding it more every time. She learned, I am happy. I am healthy. I am helpful. I am smart. I am strong. I am kind. And I believe the next one she's learned is I am respectful. I am respectful. I want her to understand what these words mean. And she is all of those things. She's incredibly smart. Just ask me. I'm her nana, right? You get to say who you are. You are who you say you are. And every word matters. If that's a little hard for you, if it's difficult, something you can't understand, need to grasp, or want to change your words, change your life, reach out with me. I've got resources, programs, books, whatever, and coaching or whatever it is that you need to change your words, change your life. Every word matters. So I invite you to go to my ever-involving website, charlaanderson.com, and grab a copy of those 2 best-selling books that I've held up, as well as I've got a chapter in the Change Insights into Self-Empowerment, book number 21, with Les Brown on the cover, with some amazing stories and authors in this book series. I invite you to take a look at that, grab that book, and glean this wisdom of about 20 of us. And if you'd like to have that credibility factor of being on a book with Les Brown, hey, shoot me a message. We'll connect you. And I have a free gift for you. This is on my website as well, charlaanderson.com. It's called 7 Ways to Transform Your Life by Changing Your Words. It's an amazing workbook and our ebook. It's one of my free resources on there. So please let me make a difference in your world. Also, here I am, the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people, and everyone is fascinating. You can find more about the Win-Win Women Network. Find out about that if that's something it's a global initiative to bring information to 3.9 billion women. That's pretty broad, right? So anyway, Paula Fellingham is a visionary, and it's coming to fruition now after all of her years of work. So this Win-Win Women Network is powerful. I would love to share more information about that. And of course, and I have a forthcoming book. Guess what it's called? Outrageously Courageous, Bold Faith, No Fear, Step Towards the Gun. And Sherry, I believe, will have a piece in that. And that's the story of this that we're talking about here. How do you step towards the gun and have no fear? Who I am is bold faith, no fear. And if you say it often enough, it's who you become in the moment. At that moment, I can't tell you how impactful that has been. And I still say it all the time. Why not? Why not? Why not speak what you want? I want to be bold. I want to be faith. I want to have outrageous faith. That's what I think. So I'm going to go ahead and tell a snippet of the rest of the story. So when that book comes out, you will want to get it for sure. So Sherry and I, of course, it was very inconvenient to have to go through insurance. Her keys were stolen, her little bit of money, everything in that backpack she handed over, and all my stuff. It's a lot of work to figure out all that stuff out. And fortunately, I did not release my purse, my phone, and my keys. It would have been a whole different story. But anyway, so it is a big inconvenience, and we headed back. So then this conference is over. I had another conference the next week in Tennessee as well. So I drove on over to the Nashville area and I went to another conference. And then I stayed with my sister, Marcia, who lives not too far from Nashville. I stayed there a week or two because trying to deal with all the insurance and police reports and all that. So it was just really nice. So going back, I headed from there. I'm driving back to East Texas to, this makes a long story short because it became a big story. The room I was going to rent, as I'm driving, I found out it is not available anymore. She changed her mind. So what had happened? Carlene's dream had motivated me to take new action and move. But it really wasn't where I was supposed to be. I went and stayed with her a day or two, and I was like, this isn't it. This isn't it. I got out of my beautiful comfort zone little house and had some adventures. And then another transition. Here I am. All my stuff is upstairs at my ex-husband's house where I raised my kids. So I said, hey, how about if I move in one of those bedrooms upstairs and help the rent or whatever, pay. And so I came back and moved in upstairs with my ex-husband, and it turned out to be a blessing for both of us in a lot of ways. And it was really, it's kind of a chaotic mess amid all the boxes and all the stuff. And miraculously, I ended up getting my book self-published. Candy Bar Hugs Doesn't Take Much to Make a Difference got self-published. Interesting. I think I couldn't even begin to tell you how that happened during all that time, but it did. Anyway, now that I went through that was the end of 2017, and so now moving the last 7 years ago, it's hard to even fathom that how much has happened and continues to happen. Everything in our world has been changed, right? But anyway, I ultimately was able to buy the house back from Ed, and I'm living here as we speak. And it's been 30 years since we originally bought this house. So grateful to all of those situations that brought me where I am. Where I am is all I have. And that's what I'm going to tell you now. I want to remind you that you are perfect exactly who and where you are right now. You are loved. God loves you. If God is love, he can't be not love. I love you. You are loved. And if you are loved, if you can receive that, if you can't receive that, if you don't feel loved or lovable, let's talk, because you can't do one thing to make God love you more or less. You are perfect exactly who and where you are. And by the way, well, I'll just add this first. Unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, not unconditional boundaries. And the harder people are, the harder people are to love, the more they need it. Is that you? You might want to take a look. Is there reason? So many of us were hurt when we were little. All of us were hurt when we were little, one way or the other. But so many of us, say, I will never be hurt like that again, ever. And you start building walls. And so sometimes it takes some digging to get back to that. You are perfect and exactly who and where you are. I want you to begin hearing that if that's not how you feel right now. So when you embrace it, you will realize that right here, right now is the only place you have to take the next step from, right? You can't change that. You can't change that week, that you can't change that mistake. You can't change anything that has happened in your past. You can't change your grandparents' meeting, anything. Everything is divinely brought you here listening to this message right now. There's nothing else you can do, nothing to change that. But whether you're in the gutter, whether you're in the castle, whether you're in the jet, where you are right this second is all you have to take the next step from. This is a constant. If you listen to me much, I'm going to continue nailing that in. And if you ever go, okay, I get it now, you don't have to keep saying it. Let me know. I'd like to know, because I think it's a reminder we all need, but you cannot change anything there, but you can everything is choice. Where you all are is all you have. You might as well love it. You can change the next step, the next word. But if you don't like where you are, that's your opportunity to change the next step, the next word, because it's all choice. You get to choose. You get to choose if you speak life, not death. You get to choose. And who Charla is, who I am. I choose gratitude. I choose in everything give thanks. I choose unconditional love. I just choose to be outrageously optimistic, outrageously courageous, outrageously bold faith, no fear. And I know some people say, well, that's just not reality. And I will say, well, it's my reality because I choose it. I choose. Do I know stuff's going on out there? Absolutely, I know stuff's going on. Do I like it? No, but I believe it's getting better in spite of the craziness. Because I don't have to walk in the fear of it or the confusion of it or the divisiveness of what the media is trying to keep us divided, right? If you don't believe that, we can talk. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the media. I have a lot of good sources of information that do not include the propaganda machines. I know, controversial. Oh, well. I am outrageously courageous. I am bold faith, no fear. No, actually, I want to change that to a question. Am I outrageously courageous? Am I bold faith, no fear? Well, I get to say who I am. So absolutely I am. So prophetically, my name means to chat in Spanish and joy in Greek. I named my coaching program Charla's Outrageously Courageous Life Mentoring System a week before I stepped towards a gun. What do you think? Is it prophetic? You think my parents were prophetic? They didn't know. I didn't know for most of my life. I am who I say I am. I choose to spend time with my friends at Bree Talks and learning how to learn with Terry Lee Harrison. And I am so very grateful that she's helping me learn how to actually step on stages and be a better speaker. If you want more information about that, it's for faith-based speakers and BRITALKS, Bree Talks. Amazing group of folks globally. I just want to, always, well, as I always end all of my shows, and I'm just going to go ahead and end this today. When I fly solo, I do just kind of end it at less than half hour. So I really appreciate that you would take the time to listen to me. This little 70-year-old lady, those guys in Memphis thinking two little old ladies walking up the driveway were easy targets. Don't mess with Texas is what I say. I am who I say I am, and I am bold faith. I am outrageously optimistic. I would love to hear, who do you say you are? Who do you say you are? Check out my ever-evolving website. Reach out to me. How can I support you? And remember to always, always, always choose joy.
Parting is such sweet sorrow. The Charla Anderson Show. Encouraging you to stand strong and courageous with bold faith, no fear, immense hope, kindness, and love, especially towards yourself. Visit charlaanderson.com for replays, blogs, and more on her ever-expanding website, as well as watch her live TV show on winwinwomen.tv, Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And so that we can continue learning together and growing this community of beautiful souls, we invite you to share the Charla Anderson Show with your circle of friends. Until we meet again next week, remember always, choose joy.